Researchers at Harvard ran one of the longest studies on human happiness ever conducted. It tracked over 700 men for 75 years. And the number one predictor of a happy life had absolutely nothing to do with money, success, or achievement. Most people will never guess what it actually was. In the next 10 minutes, you are going to discover what the science of happiness actually looks like when you strip away the self-help cliches and look at the raw data. We will cover why your brain is fundamentally wired to make you miserable, what psychologists have learned about the things we think will make us happy versus what actually does, and the one counterintuitive finding that turned the entire field of positive psychology upside down. Stay with this because the answer to that Harvard study is not what you expect. To understand where we are today with happiness research, you have to go back to 1998. That was the year psychologist Martin Seligman stood up at the American Psychological Association and delivered what would become one of the most important speeches in modern psychology. He pointed out something startling. For most of its history, psychology had been obsessed with what goes wrong with the human mind. Depression, anxiety, trauma, dysfunction. Seligman argued that we had spent decades studying misery but almost no time studying flourishing. He called for a new field: positive psychology. And from that moment forward, scientists began asking a completely different question. Not what breaks people, but what actually makes them thrive. Within a decade, hundreds of studies had been published. Universities launched dedicated research centers. Governments started measuring national happiness as a policy indicator. And what emerged from all of that research was both fascinating and deeply uncomfortable, because it contradicted almost everything people believe about what a good life looks like. Here is the first thing the science tells us, and it is a hard pill to swallow. Your brain is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to keep you alive. The human mind evolved under conditions of constant threat, scarcity, and social competition. Your default mental state is scanning for problems, anticipating danger, and comparing yourself to others. Neuroscientists call this the negativity bias, and the data on it is striking. Studies show that the brain processes negative events roughly 5 times more intensely than positive ones of equal magnitude. You can receive 10 compliments and 1 criticism, and the criticism is what keeps you up at night. That is not a character flaw. That is evolution doing exactly what it was built to do. But here's what nobody talks about. This same bias that protected your ancestors from predators is now quietly destroying your sense of well-being in a world where there are no predators, only notifications, news cycles, and social comparison. Your brain is running ancient software on a modern problem, and the mismatch is costing you enormously. So if the default setting is anxiety and dissatisfaction, what actually overrides it? The research points to several clear factors, and the first one will challenge almost everything you have been told about the pursuit of success. Psychologist Sonia Lyubomirsky spent years studying what determines a person's happiness level. Her research, later popularized as the happiness pie chart, suggested that roughly 50% of your happiness baseline is genetic. You are born with a set point. About 10% is circumstantial, meaning your income, your location, your relationship status, all of those external conditions you spend most of your life trying to optimize. And the remaining 40% is determined by your intentional activities. What you do, how you think, and what you practice. That 10% figure for circumstances is the one that stops people cold. Because most of us are living as if circumstances are everything. Think about what that means in practical terms. A 2010 study by Princeton economists Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton, both Nobel laureates, analyzed data from 450,000 Americans and found that emotional well-being rises with income up to around $75,000 per year in 2010 values, which adjusts to roughly $105,000 today. After that point, more money did not meaningfully increase day-to-day happiness. It improved life satisfaction scores on paper, but the actual felt experience of daily life did not get better. People were richer and no happier. This connects to a phenomenon researchers call the hedonic treadmill. You get the promotion, the salary bump, the new car, the bigger apartment. For a few weeks, maybe a few months, you feel genuinely better. Then you adapt. The new baseline becomes normal. And you are right back where you started emotionally, already scanning the horizon for the next thing that will finally make you feel okay. It is one of the most consistent findings in all of happiness research, and it explains why so many objectively successful people feel quietly empty. So if external circumstances account for only 10% of your happiness, what does the other 40% actually respond to? This is where the research gets genuinely exciting. And it starts with the answer to that Harvard study mentioned at the beginning. The Harvard study of adult development, which began in 1938 and continued for over 75 years across 2 generations of participants, found that the single strongest predictor of happiness and longevity in later life was not wealth, not fame, not physical health at a young age. It was the quality of a person's close relationships. People who had warm, trusting, connected relationships in midlife were healthier, sharper, and happier in their 80s than people who had been more successful by conventional measures but socially isolated. The lead researcher on the study, psychiatrist Robert Waldinger, put it simply: loneliness kills. It is as powerful a risk factor for early death as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And yet modern life is structured in almost the perfect opposite direction. We optimize for productivity, achievement, and individual success while relationships get scheduled in between everything else. The research says we have it completely backwards. But here is where it gets even more interesting. The type of social connection matters as much as the quantity. A 2023 study published in the journal Nature Human Behavior found that what researchers call high-quality interactions, moments of genuine connection, shared vulnerability, and feeling truly understood, were far more predictive of well-being than simply spending time around other people. You can be surrounded by people all day and still feel completely alone. It is not proximity. It is depth. Beyond relationships, the science consistently points to 3 other factors that drive that 40%. The first is meaning and purpose. Viktor Frankl wrote about this from inside a concentration camp, and modern neuroscience has validated his core insight. People who feel their life has meaning show measurably different brain activity, lower cortisol levels, and stronger immune function. Purpose is not just philosophical. It is biological. The second factor is what psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi called flow. The state of complete absorption in a challenging but manageable task. His research showed that people report their highest levels of well-being not during leisure or relaxation but during these flow states, when they are fully engaged and slightly stretched by what they are doing. Your brain on flow is your brain at its most alive. The third factor is perhaps the most counterintuitive of everything covered here. Giving. A landmark study across 136 countries found that spending money on others produced more happiness than spending it on yourself in almost every culture studied, regardless of income level. The act of giving, whether money, time, or attention, activates reward circuits in the brain that self-focused consumption simply does not trigger. Generosity is not a sacrifice of happiness. According to the data, it is one of the most reliable sources of it. What this all means in practical terms is that we are collectively chasing the wrong targets. Society tells you to optimize your career, your finances, your status, your appearance. The science says that once your basic needs are covered, almost none of that moves the needle on actual day-to-day happiness. What moves it is depth of connection, sense of purpose, states of deep engagement, and the experience of giving to others. These are not soft, feel-good ideas. They are among the most replicated findings in modern psychology. Before you go, if you learned something valuable today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Get Up Life for a brand new video every single day. We will see you in the next one.